In today's video, building muscle over the age of 50 with John Hansen. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and today I got Coach John Hansen from ProPhysique. What's up, man?
What's up, Paul? Good to be here.
John recently came on as a coach. He's a longtime friend, kind of a legendary bodybuilder. We won't even go into your titles, but I'm sure I'll put some clips. You send me some clips to put in here. John's won a lot of bodybuilding titles. You know, the most famous would be Natural Mr. Olympia. What year was that?
98.
98. So John just turned 58, right?
Yeah, earlier in the year.
Earlier in the year. So John's 58. I'm 45 years old. So I thought it'd be a good time to discuss this topic because I think there's probably a lot of myths, a lot of misconceptions, but there's probably a lot of things that we should be doing differently as we get a little bit older to keep muscle.
Definitely have to make some changes as you get older, for sure.
So we'll go through today's shoulder workout. So I just wanted to, why don't we just start with the warm-up? What was your thought process there with the warm-up we did today for shoulders?
Well, first we did some exercises for the rotator cuff, which I think is really important as guys get older because it seems like guys over 40 start to have shoulder problems.
Yeah.
I put a lot of clients on programs where they're doing barbell bench presses, barbell incline presses, and inevitably it seems like they end up with rotator cuff problems.
Sure.
You know? So the rotator cuff muscles are just these small muscles in the upper back shoulder where we just want to strengthen them, and I like doing these rotator cuff exercises first.
Absolutely.
Because it warms them up, it strengthens those muscles, and then when you go into the shoulders, you're not going to have any issues. So we could do it with light dumbbells. Today we did it with cables, and I think the key point is just use light weights, 15, 20 reps. You know, you're not trying to build anything, you're just trying to strengthen those muscles and get that blood in there.
Yeah, so if you guys didn't watch my video I did a couple weeks ago, I've had some shoulder issues, mostly related to my kind of posture when I'm working. I've never actually had like an injury, like an acute injury where I got hurt, but just over time I just noticed I was having some pain, and one of the things that my physical therapist, Matt, had me start doing was some of these rotator cuff exercises. Luckily I have a cable system here at the gym that allowed us to do the internal, external rotations, both from, you know, the low position and the high position. And you can definitely feel like the warmth in the shoulder. And I know when you're young, you walk in the gym, you grab some weights, and you're probably going to be fine. But I think the most important thing when it comes to keeping and building muscle after the age of 40 or 50 or whatever, you know, age you want to put it on is just continuing to be able to be in the gym, right?
Yeah, injury.
We started off differently than I usually do. We actually kind of went in reverse order. So explain why you like doing the rear delt movement first.
Yeah, I've been doing this recently. I used to always start with the pressing movement, which is the basic compound movement. But I found that by doing rear delts first of all, this is an area of the shoulder that's kind of neglected. You know, a lot of people work their front part of their deltoids, which also gets a lot of work with any kind of chest movement, any kind of pressing movement, bench press, incline press. So the rear delts kind of get neglected in the mix. And I used to always do like front delts first, side delts, and then rear delts. So I thought by starting with rear delts, we're getting more attention to that. And I also found that when I go to my next movement, which is a pressing movement, the rear delts are kind of pumped and it's almost like a cushion.
Yeah.
You know, for that pressing movement. So I like doing it in that way. So I just start off with a lighter weight. The rear delts is a very small muscle. You don't have to use a lot of weight, but I like to isolate it and really work that muscle through a full range of motion.
Yeah, so then we went on to a pressing movement, and like you said, there was already that like cushion in the shoulder. We chose the Smith machine. The thing I like about a Smith machine is that it doesn't require a lot of stabilization.
Right.
You can kind of get into a groove with it, and if you want to get a little bit heavier, you don't have to worry about, you know, balancing it as you would if you were doing a dumbbell or like a free barbell.
A barbell, right? Yeah. Yeah, the Smith machine is great, and once you get into that right groove, you can really feel that front delt working and just get right under it.
See, but the Arnold press is kind of a, well, explain like your philosophy, like how you like to do them.
So the Arnold press is a pressing movement, like a dumbbell press, like a barbell press. So it is getting the front shoulders, but what's different about it is you're starting it with your arms in front of your body, almost like you just got done doing a dumbbell curl. And then the first part of the movement is where you're rotating the arms outward. So that's almost like a lateral raise because you're using primarily your side deltoids to get the arms back out here in position. So it's a combination of a lateral raise and a press.
Yeah.
So it's really good for building the side delts. For people who have a hard time building the side delts or getting that wider look, I think it's a really great exercise. And you're not really going to feel the medial delts as much when you're doing a pressing movement because that's more front delts and triceps.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great exercise to start off with on occasion. Sometimes I'll do a barbell press or a Smith machine press or a dumbbell press. But I like starting off with the Arnold press occasionally just to get that pump in the side delts. And then when you go on to the training the side delts exclusively, like with the side lateral raise, you're getting a much better pump because the blood's already in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then we rounded out the workout with the side lateral raise, which, you know, it's the medial delt. I think it's such a small muscle that what I find is that you have to hit it correctly, because the trap wants to take over. I see a lot of people, you know, throwing their hands before the elbows.
Yeah,
I think
I see that a lot too.
Women typically will, you know, start that way. They're trying to raise it, and even some guys, because I think, and this is something that I think age teaches you, is that it's not always how much weight you're using, right? You want to create a resistance, but you know, trying to do side laterals with 50 pounds, I mean, it looks cool in the gym, but you're probably not actually targeting the side laterals.
Right, exactly.
You know, I've always been impressed by, you know, sometimes the female competitors will have much rounder shoulders than the males, and it's because they drop the ego.
Yeah.
You know, you ever watch them train, and you can tell when they're doing a side lateral, they're actually hitting their side laterals.
Yeah, and like you said, it's such an important part of your physique, because if you build that side delt and you have that round cap, it looks so much better, you know, just standing relaxed. With men or women, it's very impressive to have that. So yeah, you have to get that arm all the way out. What I like to try to do is keep my arms very straight and just come out and just really feel that side deltoid. And like you said, that was a good point, Paul. Where you said, I see that all the time, where they're throwing the hands in front of their body instead of bringing it out inside. And I think they're training the front delt when they do that. So you really need to get
that. Or the rotator cuff.
Yeah, right. Which brings us back to the original.
So let's talk about when it comes to like rep ranges and lifting heavy, because you said when you were younger you did a lot of heavy lifting. You know, how has that changed and evolved since you've been 40 and 50 and now, you know, getting close to 60, as far as like, what is your thinking when you're lifting, as far as going heavy, high reps, failure, you know?
Yeah, I still train heavy, but I'm more open to having a wider variety of rep ranges, I guess, you know, so I'll still occasionally do like the 6 to 8 rep range, which is pretty heavy, especially with the compound movements, but I also make sure I'm always warmed up beforehand. And then I'll also throw in like some exercises, especially like isolation type movements, like the side delt, rear delt, where I'm doing more 10 to 12, even maybe 12 to 15, just to get a really good pump and get that blood in the muscle. And all those rep ranges contribute to building muscle.
Absolutely.
When I was younger, I thought you've got to train heavy, 6 to 8 reps with the heaviest weight possible in order to build the mass. And there is some truth to that, but I think as you get older, you start to adapt and then start to bring in different rep ranges.
Yeah, and I think we all go through that, and I don't think the psychology is talked about enough, because what's fun to do is what's going to keep you coming back in the gym.
Yeah.
And if you like lifting heavy, do that. If you like doing high reps, do that. Just understand that there's multiple ways to get there. You know, research has actually shown that, you know, training to failure can be one of the best tools, but you don't have to train to failure to build muscle. There's multiple ways to do it. So really finding something that you enjoy consistently. I think, you know, you and I come from an era where we would often find books, magazines, do those workouts for 4 or 6 weeks and then move on to the next one. And I think now, you know, as a coach, what I'm noticing is that people are afraid to even try anything. They want to know what the perfect workout program is. Whereas, you know, we've all done the 10 by 10, we've all done the pyramid sets, we've all done the stuff that, you know, was in the books and magazines, you know, Ronnie Coleman's, you know, 30 sets of biceps. And there's value there. You know, you learn a lot about yourself. So don't be afraid to get out there and just try things. But the most important thing, I think, for myself, for John, is just finding a way to remain consistent, stay healthy, stay in the gym.
And I think when you're locked into a certain philosophy, like I have to train heavy with 6 to 8, some days you're going to come in and your body's not going to want to do 6 to 8. You know, it's going to be hurting. So it's good on those days to go a little lighter, you know, get that pump, get that blood in the muscle, and you're still going to have a great workout just because you're not going super heavy. There's different rep ranges and there's different philosophies on how to get there.
Well, let's talk real quickly about, because you're obviously very lean right now, let's talk a little bit about nutrition and cardio. Are you doing some form of cardio?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of cardio, but I am doing like 3 days a week of cardio. So I like to do it after my workout. After the weight training is over, I'll do like 30 minutes on the treadmill. Nothing crazy, about a 3.2 mile per hour at an 8 incline. Trying not to hold on, you know, and
break a little sweat.
Yeah, break a little sweat. It's good enough just to get that fat burning going. Occasionally also I'll do it in the morning if I have that day off, and I'll do it before breakfast, like fasted cardio. So I do both ways, but I'm only doing about 3 days a week right now.
What about nutrition? Let's talk about macros, because obviously, you know, as we age, the research does show that, you know, protein becomes even more important than when we're younger. So what are your macros currently at?
Well, my body weight right now is about 200 pounds, so I'm probably eating around 220 grams of protein.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'8".
5'8".
Yeah.
So John is a brick house, if you haven't figured that out. So, because I'm like 220 at 6'3", so when I'm at his body composition, I'm about his weight. So, so 220 grams of protein. How do you set up your fats and your carbs?
Fats, I always go more moderate, so probably about 50 grams of fats.
That's a nice number.
Yeah, and then carbs is sometimes 220, 230.
Okay.
You know, it comes out to around 2,200 calories.
So very
2,300
well-rounded
calories.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so John's, you said you're gonna do like a photo shoot, so you're in pretty good shape right now, as you guys can see in the video. So yeah, I think, you know, this is what happens when you've been training for, oh gosh,
40-something years, yeah.
40 years. That's crazy. I said the other day I was training for 25 years, and I thought, wow, that's crazy. So this is, you know, I've said it a few times. I think it honestly gets, I don't want to say easier, but it gets easier to keep the muscle the longer you've been training. It's very hard to put muscle on. It's not that hard to keep it. You know, I found that I can maintain
That's true.
my physique with much less effort than it took to get the physique.
That's very true. It's a lot of effort to build it in the beginning, but then once you have it, it's easier to keep.
Yeah, so and John and I are still lifetime natural bodybuilders, and this is something that, you know, and we both competed in natural bodybuilding competitions throughout our lifetime, and obviously there's value in getting your hormones checked and making sure you're healthy, but as long as you're training hard, intelligently, eating and being consistent, I think, you know, you can have a respectable physique.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right, well, this was a great shoulder workout with John. If you guys are interested in some more content with John, you know, the great thing is he lives here in Tampa. He's a coach here for Pro Physique. So, you know, he's writing training programs for clients. He's working with clients one-on-one. So we can do some more content right here in the gym if you want to see some other workouts. I don't know if I'll train legs with him. I saw him squatting 315 the other day, and I'm not interested in that. But, you know, we can probably go down to his gym, Powerhouse, and get some more footage if you're interested. Let us know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And be sure to follow John. I'll put his information down below.